Live?
We live.
Live at 5?
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. And we're recording. Noise.
As long as Craig doesn't shit himself.
Yeah. Well, if he does, we have Zencaster. He's recording. Got backups on backups on backups.
All right. I like it.
Right. Cool. I'm going to stop this music. Provided by River, of course. Take a sip of my drink here. Clear the old throat. And let's run that beautiful intro. What's up, game geeks and tech junkies? Welcome to A Gaming Moment, a weekly podcast about everything gaming and streaming related, including the news, tech, and software behind it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you can engage with us, as well as find out when we're streaming the podcast and get a first listen before it goes out across all of your favorite podcasting platforms. I'm Diggin07, and with me as always is WildTwinsFan. How you doing this week, Wildy?
Good. Dave, you sound a little raspy this week.
Yeah, I woke up a little under the weather with a sinus infection. Our buddy Ron swears up and down it's the old dirty Rona, but, you know, it's just a crazy runny nose and just basic sinus infection. What do we got going on this week?
Yeah, so this week we're going to talk about some big changes to Call of Duty. I also talked about some exciting news about Valve and them actually embracing right to repair, which is pretty cool, pretty trend-setting. And then we also have a couple banter items. We finally get a first peek at Sony's VR2 headset. Talk a little bit more. We've talked a little bit about Microsoft and their acquisition of Blizzard, and a little bit of how that came to be. Then we'll also talk about some of the things that the Twitch and Luna in their Amazon kind of cloud gaming system, kind of some things they promised are kind of coming to fruition. And then we have just a little bit on Snapchat and some things you can finally do and some creator money out there. And then we're also going to talk just to brush upon Apple's VR AR device and what we're seeing on that.
Awesome. Looks like we got a pretty stacked show today. So as Waldy said, Call of Duty, there's been a lot of Call of Duty news. I would say in the last like 10 or so days that's kind of come out. One of the latest things that's actually come out is Call of Duty, since its inception, has come out with a new game every single year. And they announced earlier this week that there will not be another game coming out until 2023, like a premium version of a game, one that you actually have to pay for. And it's actually delayed till 2024 for the first time in COD history. But they did confirm it will be a sequel to Modern Warfare, the one from 2019. Wild, what are your thoughts on that? Like, I've stated many times on this podcast that I love the Modern Warfare franchise, and the fact that it's being developed by Treyarch is another kind of highlight for me, because I do enjoy Treyarch's versions of their games. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, those were fairly decent games for it being a Treyarch game. And I think it's going to be good. I'm excited to see the storyline progress, because it's a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, which was a prequel to the original Modern Warfare.
So I'm mixed. I thought the game coming out this year is gonna be a Modern Warfare.
No, they're not putting out another game this year.
Yes, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Let me validate here. They're taking a break in 2023, so they're gonna put out a game this year. Yes, you're correct. But they're not gonna put out a game. They're not gonna put out a game.
See, yeah, yes, we're gonna have to redo this.
Okay, you want me to start from,
because
from the tippy top?
No, however you want to do it, but we just have to
start from that section.
Just from that section. So the next game, right, is is okay. So the next game is confirmed to be the sequel to 2019, which is the game we'll get this year.
Okay, yeah, the 2022's Modern Warfare. Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
then we don't know, and we don't when we're guessing after that if it's we assume it's probably Treyarch again. I don't know if it's
Well, no,
it's weird to
they
say.
said Activision is publishing the game with the one for the one
Yeah,
in 2020,
Treyarch.
the one in 2023 is Treyarch, or one that was supposed to be 2023
2024 will be Treyarch.
will be
Yeah.
Treyarch. Okay, okay. Then I'll start
Okay.
this whole
So
I'll
yep.
start this whole section over again.
Yep. Sorry. I just,
No,
so
you're good. You're good. You're keeping me honest.
the next premium game of Call of Duty will be this year, then delayed 24. Is that
Yeah, that works. That works. Cool.
risk?
Yeah.
This confirmed this year will be a sequel to. Okay,
That looks good. Here, I'll start over.
no problem. I just figured that's probably easier than arguing on the podcast.
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. I didn't. I kind of caught that, and then yeah, whatever.
No, like I said, thank you for keeping me honest. And guys, this is the realism of doing these live streams, right? We're not 100% like building out these scripts. We don't have a whole lot of time to really study the material. We know enough to talk about it, and we're pretty good experts in like the actual game. But when these news items come out, we have to kind of skim through them, and we skim through so much that it actually just kind of a lot of it gets pushed out the ears. So we're gonna start this whole go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and ultimately we're a podcast, so sometimes we get into things on the podcast, and then we're gonna take those out because they don't make for good listening for the podcast. So you guys, if you watch this video now, you'll see this, and no one else will ever know this happened. So
yeah, that is until
just part of it. So
that is until I download this video and edit it and re-upload it and have it all nice and cut up and nice and neat. So we'll look forward to that in the near future. So let's start this section all over. All right, Wildy, it looks like we have a pretty stacked show today. Let's go ahead and dive into the Call of Duty stuff. So there's been a lot of Call of Duty news over the last 7 to 10 days. And it was recently announced that the next premium Call of Duty that comes out will be this year, but the one that was supposed to be developed in 2023 has actually been delayed to 2024. And this is a first in Call of Duty history that a premium Call of Duty game won't release the next year. But what Call of Duty did confirm is that they will be releasing a sequel to Modern Warfare, the one from 2019, the latest one. Now, I've stated many times on this podcast how much I absolutely love the Modern Warfare franchise. I love the storyline. I love the characters. They're kind of the characters that I've kind of grown up with throughout my teenage years. And the Modern Warfare 2019 was actually a prequel to the original Modern Warfare that came out. I'm curious to see how this game is going to play out and what your thoughts are on it, Wild.
Well, I'm kind of excited. I hope that we can keep the sauce that Modern Warfare 2019 had. I feel like the game was well balanced, which is always my biggest point of COD. If you can get a game that's playable and the weapons aren't overpowered, and one side's not gonna again, as a search and destroy player, I play primarily objective based search and destroy. But I like to see that some maps aren't like you're never gonna be able to plant the bomb, or and so it's that balance that if they can keep that balance that that they had for Modern Warfare and a lot of the maps, that I'll be real excited for. I kind of feel like even that 2019 could have made it 2 years, and we could have just skipped Black Ops Cold War, honestly. And I think a lot of people will say the same thing, that Cold War was a little bit forgettable to go back to the old technology. But again, we talked about that. They kind of got thrown into the fire. Treyarch did, and they did a good job to put a game out a year early and still provide the game that they provided, a top-notch game. And we can see that games like and we could see games like Battlefield 2042 that had their time and the schedule and all that stuff, and they're failing miserably at even the most simple things that they're trying to do. So I think there's a good chance that we're going to get a high quality game out of this, and I hope we do, because we're going to be stuck with it for 2 years. And again, I mostly play the base game. Warzone is just for me is just a piece I step into once in a while.
Yeah, I didn't buy Vanguard because I knew it was going to be trash, just because of what's been said about it. And there's COD players that swear up and down they're going to buy every COD game that's out there, and that used to be me. And I've decided to kind of take a step back, because I feel that as this technology progresses, they're rushing, especially with these next gen consoles that just released with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and stuff, that the games weren't going to be ready. And again, they were being rushed to develop these games. I think what developers need to do is they need to take a step back, and instead of trying to make a game or release a game every year for money's sake, release something good that's going to last a while. And then now you can build the DLC out a little bit better. You can make money off of the microtransactions. There should be no reason for developers to try to push out a game every year. I mean, if you think about it, some of the biggest games out there have not pushed out a new game every single year. World of Warcraft has not pushed out a new expansion pack every single year. Um, GTA has not pushed out a game every single year. Rainbow Six in general has not pushed out a new game every year, and they still have very, very high, very, very dedicated, very, very dense player bases. So the formula is there. Call of Duty should follow that formula. It'll be interesting to see what Microsoft has to say when the acquisition is complete, and we'll jump down to that later on in the podcast episode. But I think this is something that Microsoft could influence as well. What they also reported, though, is that there's a claim that a new free-to-play Call of Duty was in the works, and that's supposed to be, I believe, it's supposed to be released this year or maybe next. So when we talk about premium Call of Duty, it's the Call of Duties that you actually have to pay for. It's not free to play. But what an Activision spokesperson came out and said in a statement passed over to Eurogamer was, "We have an exciting slate of premium and free to play Call of Duty experiences for this year and next year and beyond. Reports of anything otherwise are incorrect. We look forward to sharing more details when the time is right." So they are confirming that there are premium and free to play Call of Duty experiences slated for this year and next year. We just don't know exactly what they are just yet, except for the Modern Warfare expansion, but we don't know the free to play one yet.
Yep. So then we see, then just talk about some of the new updates here on the Warzone Pacific Season 2. We got a couple new weapons, some map changes. We got new Nebula V gas. COD loves its gas. Nova's gas, and I always have gas and everything. So the Nebula V gas is kind of nice. I believe you can take down riot shielders now with the V gas, or do some damage to some riot shielders. Even though
Pussies.
I never felt like riot shields are overpowered.
They are pussies.
And then what else is there then, Dave? Then we have like armored trucks.
Yeah, they have armored transport trucks, which if you're a PUBG player, you should be very familiar with this. Basically what the armored transport trucks are, they're exactly like loot trucks on Sandhawk. They randomly on Sandhawk on PUBG, I should say. They're randomly spawned on the map on Caldera, and if you take it down, there's premium tier loot within the truck that you can loot. So, taking a page of PUBG's book right there. They also included bomber planes, which I don't play much of Caldera. I don't like Caldera. I'm a big Rebirth Island, Resurgence uh, Warzone player type of guy. I like the pace. I've stated that before. And then they've also introduced more flaming bullets. Like this is one of the biggest things that I've seen in this new Warzone season 2. There's a lot of people using flaming bullets, so it's doing damage after you're shot. So I can't tell you how many times I've been down because I got shot 3 times with a flaming bullet, and then the flaming bullet, the flames just kind of took me out. I think they're a little overpowered right now. I could say the nebula gas bullets that they have now are a little overpowered, but they're brand new, and like anything with COD, it takes 7 years for them to rebalance out everything properly, or until the next big release comes out that they want people to spend money to for the microtransactions, and they'll make OP for that particular short period of time.
Yeah.
Hold
All
on, I
right.
gotta sneeze.
You want me? Okay.
So moving on.
Yes. Go ahead.
So moving on, a big step in just right to repair and hardware developers creating something that is meant for end users to be able to easily repair. Valve, the maker of Valve, Steam, whatever you want to call them, they released the CAD files for the Steam Deck so that anyone can print their own system shell. Now this is huge because Valve stated already that they are going to exercise their ability to release right to repair, and they're following through on this promise to sell replacement parts for the Steam Deck, allowing users to do their own repairs at home through a partnership with iFixit. Which, if you don't know who iFixit is one of the biggest and most popular kind of tear down, breakdown websites out there. They sell kits that help with tools and spudgers and stuff that you can take stuff apart. That's basically how I learned how to repair my iPhone and replace my own iPhone screens, back in the day. So they've stated that iFixit will be one of the authorized sellers of Steam Deck replacement parts, as well as replacement parts for the Valve Index VR kit. They're still hammering out the details, and they'll be sharing more info on this soon, is what they wrote on an update on Steam. Wildy, I know you've been a big proponent of right to repair. You're getting your Steam Deck eventually. How does this affect you? How does this make you feel? Do you see other hardware developers moving to this style?
I don't know that I see other developers moving to the style, but it's good to see someone take that first step, because that's going to put pressure, hopefully put pressure on the other companies to have the same things available for their customers. And one of the things too is, right, I get it. Maybe fixing your own stuff is not even for you, right? And that's perfectly acceptable, because there's a lot of little screws, and there's a talent. There's no shame in paying a technician to fix your stuff, right? Because they do it day in, day out. They know how to do it. They know how to deal with the ribbon cables and all the finite little stuff in there, and it's money well spent to have an actual qualified technician repair your stuff. And this also is going to give those qualified technicians access to those parts. So and we've talked about that before. Apple's notorious about not giving and keeping their parts for themselves. And people have went behind their back and sourced parts from China. People have went behind their back and bought broken parts, broken units, and source parts out of those. And now this is just going to be like, hey, these are available. You can buy it for yourself and fix it in your own home, or you can take it to a qualified technician and have them do that. I mean, that's what it should be. And I think the whole iFixit part is not like, it's a smart, calculated move on Steam's part, because Steam knows how to do video games, and they know how to sell video games and stuff like that, but they don't really sell hardware. They other than they've had a controller, the VR headsets and stuff like that. They don't have a massive warehouse. They're not pumping out, hundreds of thousands of pieces and mailing stuff each week. And if you can leverage a company like iFixit that's used to dealing with little finicky parts and packing stuff and selling people the right things that they need to install and take their things apart. I mean, it's a home run. Like, they don't have to do any of the guesswork of figuring out that business, because iFixit, they've got it nailed. They are the authority on finding your parts and getting the teardowns and just getting the info on the stuff you own. If especially when your manufacturer won't tell you. You can go see the latest iPhones tore down, and they'll tell you how fixable and repairable they are and stuff like that. So this is amazing. And they've done it the right way, right? It's really hard to go in there and create your own store to start selling your own parts to support your own products. So I'm really jazzed about this. I'm jazzed that people out there are going to be able to I stick drift, man. That's the thing. Like, I'm scared of the Nintendos. I got 4 controllers right now sitting on my desk that all have stick drift. Now I can send them in and get them replaced, but I have to send them in. It's going to be weeks. They're going to be gone for weeks. They are $70 to $80 a set, and it's like, am I just going to have to do this every year when my controllers start drifting? Well, now you can buy spares and have them on hand and bring them to the local shop, and the local shop probably throw them in for you for, in a half hour. If you're competent yourself, you can throw them in yourself. It's great. And they've done it the right way.
I was just at an old computer repair shop that I used to work at when I was younger. And, I let them know about this because they do console repairs. They do HDMI replacements for PS5s, PS4s, Xboxes, all the generations of Xboxes. They're even doing refurbishing for older generation consoles like the original Xbox, the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3s, PlayStation 2s. So they're starting to get into that console repair, console refurbishing business. And I let them know that, hey, this Steam Deck is kind of the new big thing coming out, at least in the gaming world. It's a handheld PC at the end of the day. It's running Steam OS on it. And I let them know, hey, Valve is exercising their right to repair on these things. You guys should actually think about it. Maybe have, a dozen or so sets of replacement parts, especially joysticks for the stick drift, on hand, and charge a half-hour labor to install it, because we've seen the teardown videos on it. It's not too difficult. You can do the whole disassembly with just a Phillips screwdriver and a plastic spudger, assuming you're not also trying to remove the screen. That's a whole different animal. And the Steam Deck's components are labeled well, which makes reassembly a lot easier. And then, like Wild said, you might need some technical acumen to do some of the replacement parts. Like, replacing the battery is technically possible, but it's not easy. So if you have somebody that feels more comfortable and more confident about doing some of these really technical things, this is a new market for a lot of mom and pop repair shops. And I think we're going to see, I legit think we're going to see more mom and pop, more brick and mortars, or, I see it on TikTok where people mail like people their laptops or their desktops to get it fixed and whatnot. I think we're going to see more businesses like that. And, people are going to make money off of this. And I think it's an awesome industry, and it might be something worth looking into if you feel like you have the technical capability. It doesn't require a whole heck of a lot of knowledge, but you just have to it requires a lot of patience, because we're talking about tiny screws and tiny parts, and you have to be willing to eat a little bit of profit. If you lose screws, you got to have extra screws on hand, things like that. But I think this can only be good in a number of ways for a number of industries.
Yeah, and I've seen things where they were training stay-at-home moms to fix iPhones. I mean, it's like, it's like you can come in and fix a couple phones and call it a day, and it's pretty cool. It's a good industry. I think there's a lot of demand for it. pretty cool. I did want to also mention that not only the Steam Deck, but they're going to add Valve Index parts to be available on iFixit too. So Steam's going all in. Not only just the Steam Deck now. Now they're going to go back and pick up some of those Valve parts. So you could fix your controller if that messes up again, because it's fairly common. Instead of buying a whole new controller, instead of wasting it, throwing the old one in the trash. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it'll make your parts last a lot longer. It'll make your equipment in general last a lot longer. So, guys, if you've been enjoying the podcast and would like to support us so we can keep creating more content, we've got a Patreon that you can visit at patreon.agamingmoment.com. Become a patron and gain exclusive benefits such as early access to episodes, monthly AMAs, and an additional monthly bonus episode. So sign up today. So while
we gotta
go ahead.
So yeah, Dave, this week we got a first peek at Sony's new VR2 headset. We've known this has been coming for a while. So yeah, again, no surprise, but we actually got a look at it, and it's actually not too far off from the Quest headset. So gonna see some pretty nice features on here. Again, haptic feedback, eye tracking, 4K HDR, 90, 120 hertz frames. A big 110 degree field of view. And it's going to connect with your PlayStation with a single USB-C cable. We're on par with the other headsets. Again, the Quest can be wireless too, and I think that's a nice feature. Kind of wish it would be wireless too, but I can kind of see how it's not. So, what's your thoughts on that, Dave?
After having that talk with Kyle from the Net VR, knowing how much, or should I say how little, headsets are being used, I don't know how viable this is going to be for Sony. I think this could be a money-losing proposition for them. Is it groundbreaking? No. But is it niche? Yes. The original PlayStation VR was actually kind of popular. Like I know one of my best friends had it. We would go over to his house and play it like maybe once a month or something like that. But knowing that VR headsets are used literally seconds, on a monthly basis compared to like your mobile device or something like that. Like PlayStation integrates with they have games that integrate with your mobile device, and we've played on those games way more than we would have ever played on VR games. So this builds on that conversation, that metaverse conversation, that VR conversation that we had a few weeks ago. I think it's cool, but I don't think they're going to sell as many as they think they're going to sell, especially since you're still tethered to the console. That's where, the Quest 2 has really hit the market and hit it hard and converted a lot of people and got more people owning headsets because you're not tethered to anything. It has its own built-in graphics processor and whatnot. But, regardless, the VR hardware has matured a lot since the first PlayStation VR. And supposedly the controllers are supposed to be different. They still have to prove it can still provide a compelling experience as well as the games that go with it, because now you have to have dedicated PlayStation VR graphics. And it's already announced one game being made for the system called Horizon Call of the Mountain, which is specifically built for the PlayStation VR 2 and will open the doors for players to go deeper into the world of Horizon. I haven't seen this game yet, or the original game, but we'll see. And the reveal answered the biggest question about the PlayStation VR 2, but there's still a lot we don't know about the upcoming headset, like its price, release date. But I'm sure Sony will have more to announce on it soon. Again, I just don't know if it's viable. I don't think they're going to sell as many units as they want to sell. So, it's nice we're seeing more VR stuff come out, but again, I think like I'm going to have to go with Kyle on this. I think people are going to start moving more to their mobile devices.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's some things that I just tell you what, like to be in VR, it's just life changing on some of the games. Like again, we talked about Phasmophobia. And I've only really made it through the lobby in Phasmophobia because it already sounds a little spooky. And I think you just get that. There's that immersion piece that you get with VR that's so compelling, and it'll be neat to see if they can do some bigger titles with that. It'd be really neat to see COD in VR. Or a good COD in VR, like a actual AAA developer. But I won't hang my hat on that one. But it'd be. I'm just excited to see a little bit more progress and people not giving up on it, not giving it the good old Google, and just putting a year into it and flipping it off. So.
So we mentioned previously on the podcast that Amazon has come out with a new game streaming service called Luna, and they're going to be introducing a Play on Luna button that will be available on Twitch, similar to what Google did with Stadia by putting a Play on Stadia on YouTube. So again, another company jacking another company's, one company jacking another company's steez here, and just trying to integrate. Now, we talked about last week where Stadia is going. Is this a premonition for what could happen to Luna, right? I'm not sure. But right now, to see the button at all, you have to be logged into Twitch and have linked your Amazon account to Twitch and been accepted into the early access program for Luna. So like there's a multi-step process. It's a painful process just to get to the beta version.
It's not painful. You can go click in. I did it earlier. You can go click and join Luna. See if you can be accepted. They're accepting everyone right now. If there happened to be a big rush, then maybe I think they close the door. But I think they're leaving it behind the hype train. Click here and see if we'll accept you to our, pre-beta or whatever they're calling it. And I don't know, but I like the idea here that like you can see the game and hey, I want to play the game, but it's a little bit goofy that I don't believe the button's not on like a streamer's page.
They're missing out.
Ultimately, but as a streamer, I don't necessarily want people being like, "Hey, click away from my stream to go play the game." Yeah, so I mean, I think maybe there could be a balance piece there as a streamer if you can give me that button and if people went and played the game and then I got some incentive because of that would be pretty cool. I might like that.
Yeah, because unlike services like Netflix, which lets you access all the available content with a single monthly subscription, Luna offers different sets of games grouped by channel. So each channel has a separate subscription, which means you don't know if you subscribe to the correct channel on Luna to play a game from Twitch until you actually click on the button. And since, if you don't subscribe to any Luna channels, that means you haven't actually been able to click on the button to start playing the game. So I think there's a UI, a user experience, and a user interface piece that still has to go into it, so that it checks your Amazon account, your Twitch account to make sure that you're enrolled in Luna, and B, that you have the right subscription. So if you don't have a subscription to that particular channel to play that game, then that button shouldn't come up. But I understand them putting the button there to cross promote it in order to try to get people to subscribe to that channel so that they can play the game, so that Amazon can make more money.
Right. I think, and consumers can save money because they don't have to buy the game.
Right. And I think they need to put in place for the streamers, like you said, an incentive program. So if somebody clicks on that Play with Luna, just like if somebody purchases the game through the Twitch library, if they click on the game, they purchase the game through the Twitch library because Twitch offers certain games, that the streamer then gets a cut of that, just like they do with the games that you purchase. So there should be some sort of cut. I think there should be some sort of reoccurring revenue model, especially if it's a subscription based platform. That if they're a brand new Luna sign up, or they're a sign up based off of that person streaming a particular game, so that channel they subscribe to that particular game channel, then the streamer should get like some sort of reoccurring revenue. If it's $1, if say you're paying $9.99 a month for the subscription service, the streamer should get $1 per month for being the person that for that conversion point. Marketing terminology here, for that conversion point right there. And I think that will help a lot of streamers, help push the Luna platform, and because more streamers are going to get more money off of it. You sign 6 people up, that's a guaranteed $6 a month. You sign 100 people up, that's a guaranteed $100 a month. So it's almost like an additional subscription to your channel at the end of the day.
Yeah. Speaking of additional money for content creators, Snapchat's now stepped up with a little bit. I mean, it's a little bit controversial for me, but Snapchat's going to allow people to put ads, or they're going to put ads within stories, and then they're going to share the money with the creators. So we'll have to kind of see how this pans out. But I like to see, again, everyone now is kind of chasing TikTok a little bit. TikTok blew up and everyone's chasing them. And so now they're going to give their content creators a way to make some money on the platform. And I like that, as long as I have some control over those ads to somewhat, and as long as the pay rate makes sense. Because like we've talked about before, the ads on Twitch, they don't make any sense for the streamers really, unless you're huge, and it makes a little bit of sense. But tiny little streamers are not making any money on your ads. So there's that.
Yeah.
What do you think on that piece, Dave?
You hit it right on the head. I think creators need to have some sort of control over what ads are shown on their content. Because, I mean, I can tell you personally, and just on our A Gaming Moment stuff, I don't want anybody talking about flaccid penises, selling stuff to cure flaccid penises.
Yeah.
We're gamers. I don't want to hear that. My stuff's working just fine. I don't need to hear that. I'm here to consume gaming content. I'm here to consume, gaming news, streaming news. I'm here to consume all of that, clips, which is the big thing that we post on like YouTube Shorts and stuff. But this is the third instance just within this podcast where one company is jacking another company's steez. Snapchat is jacking. I'm gonna say they're jacking YouTube's style on this one, right? Because YouTube is doing incentives for creators for the YouTube short stuff. So companies like YouTube and Snap are really trying to, like you said, dig into TikTok's, trying to keep up with TikTok, trying to get more, trying to keep up with the site usage, trying to get those numbers, get all that analytics in, get those views, because TikTok's got them all at the end of the day. So they're trying to create an incentive program for people to come back to these platforms, because Snapchat was once the big platform. Vine was once the big platform until it got shut down. YouTube has always been a big platform, but they're trying to get in. They see how much time people spend on TikTok, because it's so like, wow, how many times have you been up at 2:00 in the morning? You're like, all right, I'm going to go to bed, but let me watch a couple TikToks real quick. 3 hours later, shit. It's so easy to get consumed in these, minute and a half, 45-second to a minute and a half videos. And by the time you realize it, you're 3 hours in.
Yep. So, and then the other part on Snapchat that I thought was kind of good, I ran across on this story here. Not really with part of the story, but they're now going to allow users to change their names, which is good, because I may have picked a less than desirable name to share. And I don't really Snapchat because my friends aren't funny and they don't have funny things to share. So unless you're funny, you can hit me up on Snap. My username's Itchy Farts, because I thought that was funny, and I probably changed that now that I can. So
So we got a follow up. We're gonna go and hit a dead horse. We're gonna poke a dead horse with a stick here. And an article came out stating how Microsoft's $68.7 billion deal for Activision Blizzard came together. And talks actually started 3 days after the Wall Street Journal article about the scandal within Activision. And there's a quote from the article: in the course of a conversation on a different topic between Mr. Spencer and Mr. Kotick. What's Spencer's first name? Phil Spencer.
Phil.
So we're talking about Phil Spencer and I forget the guy's first name from Activision.
I don't know.
They raised that Microsoft was interested in discussing strategic opportunities between Activision Blizzard and Microsoft, and asked whether it would be possible to have a call with Mr. Nadella the following day. The next day, a Saturday, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella was apparently more explicit, indicating that Microsoft was interested in exploring a strategic combination with Activision Blizzard. So this kicked off nearly 2 months of conversations between Microsoft and Activision into what would become the acquisition announced on January 18th. And you can read the whole blow-by-blow over the course of 10 pages in Activision Blizzard's filing beginning on page 31, which will be in a link in our podcast episode description. Activision Blizzard's SEC filing also includes the terms of the merger agreement, which shows that Microsoft would be on the hook if the merger gets blocked by the government regulators, because right now it is going through the SEC and all that. It would pay Activision Blizzard a termination fee ranging from $2 billion to $3 billion if the acquisition is axed due to an injunction arising from the antitrust laws. So the antitrust laws, in case you guys don't know, is they're trying to make sure that it's free, fair market. Like I said, we've been hitting on this the past few weeks since this news broke. Making sure that Microsoft is keeping true that it's not going to make all their games a single platform, a single company platform game, Xbox, PC kind of deal. And if Activision Blizzard's shareholders do not vote to approve the merger, it might have to pay Microsoft a termination fee of $2.27 billion. So regardless, there's going to be a lot of money exchanged, whether or not the merger actually goes through.
Yeah, so I mean, this is just for me, this was a real interesting piece, because when we first heard of this merger, we talked a little bit about, hey, maybe Microsoft can set this company straight, right? Because you don't, at least from now, hopefully, and we don't hear this, Microsoft seems to run a pretty clean ship, and they haven't had a lot of accusations flying out of those. We've seen them from Google, and then we've seen them from Blizzard and Activision here and stuff like that. So we were, like we talked about, maybe Microsoft can kind of clean this up and kind of, make it a little bit more decent, a little more proper, and a safer, nicer place for everyone to work and stuff like that. And turns out that was kind of the whole catalyst to the sale in the first place. So pretty neat. Phil Spencer has never shown me any signs that he's anything less than absolutely excellent. So like I said, I'm excited for the deal. Phil's a great leader. He's done great things for Microsoft and Xbox, and I hope that's going to keep going forward with Blizzard and Activision. And looks like they're really starting off on the right step, because the acquisition came kind of from the right place, I think.
Yeah, the fact that this was actually led by Phil Spencer actually brings a little bit of peace to me, knowing that this merger and acquisition, and that Phil Spencer ultimately might be leading, or would be leading, that division to ensure that things do change within Activision Blizzard. I would assume that division of the company will rest under the Xbox brand, and Phil Spencer will be the top dog at it, overseeing and delegating who the managers are. And they're going to, go through the right kind of training. They're going to try to get this whole PR thing turned around, because at the end of the day, Activision Blizzard has some of the biggest games on the planet. And it's in Microsoft's best interest that this merger happens, because the biggest AAA games, that Microsoft has, I believe, are on Activision. So it has to, right? It absolutely
Yep.
has to work out. Hey guys, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram so you can engage with us, as well as find out when we're streaming the podcast and get a first listen before it goes out across all of your favorite podcasting platforms. So do it.
So, Day, I did want to touch on One Piece though, because we covered this in the opening. So Day, I did want to touch on One Piece. I did want to touch that there's strong rumors of the Apple VR AR headset coming potentially this year, and they're kind of hearing the rumblings. And Apple's always very tight-lipped and very close to their chest on their products. So, but the fact that we're hearing some rumblings that it might be this year or even maybe even next year, to say an AR VR headset, the rumblings are getting kind of strong. So we're going to kind of keep our ear to the ground on that one. We'll keep you guys posted. But there's definitely good evidence from some trusted sources say we'll see something from Apple, soonish. So just so you guys know, follow our follow the Instagrams, the TikToks, the Facebooks, and we'll keep you up to date on that stuff as we know.
The Insta face to talks.
Yes.
So Waldy, you came across an interesting Instagram post, since we're talking about social media here. One of our favorite games, PUBG, which in this case it's actually PUBG Mobile, but PUBG Mobile has sponsored a NASCAR. Like, is that their target demographic? Rednecks?
I mean, I guess it gets a lot of eyes on it. It's an interesting thing. So it's a beautiful car,
dude. It is really nice looking. Yeah, it is really nice looking.
So it's sharp, and I just thought it was interesting to see a mobile game advertising on NASCAR. Kind of wild to me. I'm sure they're not the first, but it's a fully decked out PUBG car. So it's not a sticker. It's not a little emblem or something. It's fully adorned, and it looks beautiful. And you know what? I might tune in and watch it just to see the car. I guess, I don't know. Maybe that works for them. So just need Instagram, and we've definitely been hitting up the Instagram with a lot of clips too, guys. So check them out. Submit your own clip so we can put them on Instagram and share them with everybody else.
Yeah. On that note, I want to just take a second, give a shout out. Like our social media following has it really exploded in the last 10 days, Wild, and it's been really nice, and it's a testament to you guys and a testament to the community. Really sharing what we have out there, and we just want to make sure that we're grateful that you guys are doing this, helping us grow, and that you guys enjoy the content and everything, and we just want to really appreciate that. But moving on to the next piece of social medias, Wild found an interesting TikTok from Tim the Tapman where he goes God mode apparently versus a hacker. So let's take a listen to that.
We try and reset like airfield or something?
Yeah, we have to like strong reset every couple minutes.
Wait, is that a cheater? Hang on, Doc.
What's that?
Hang on. I'm testing something here, buddy.
What are we testing?
He's cheating, and he can't do damage. He's cheating.
What's that?
Look at your health. You haven't seen this yet? See my health? This kid's cheating. He's not. He can't do damage. Come here. Let's go f him. This is actually one of the funniest ways they troll hackers. It's the kid on the buy. I'm flying at him. It's not working, huh, buddy? Rat. I just executed a cheater. Love that. Love that for us. We try and
So apparently this wannabe hacker.
And reset like airfield or something?
Yeah, we have to like strong reset every couple.
There we go. Having issues here. So apparently this wannabe hacker purchased this, false, or maybe it was free, hacks for,
we don't know.
We don't know. But, somehow became in possession of what looks to be some false hacks, which does 0 damage to other players, probably gives them walls or something, right? Don't know. But obviously this guy cannot do damage to other people, so it's more of a troll.
That's Ricochet. That's what Ricochet's doing.
Oh, is it?
Ricochet, that's what Ricochet's doing. Ricochet is trolling this guy. This guy puts 100 bullets into Tim, and Tim the Tatman flies in on this guy, and he is such trash that Tim the Tatman executes him. Dude, just embarrassed him. Like, I hope the guy turned it off, and yelled at his mom for to charge back his cheap provider on his credit card, because I mean, embarrassing, dude. It'd be it'd be one thing if the guy had any skill whatsoever, but you can tell by his movement when Tim flew in on him and executed him, he's got nothing. And those are the type of hackers you can spot them a billion miles away.
See, I didn't know that was Ricochet. So no, that's funny. If COD's Ricochet anti-cheat system, if that's hilarious. Like what an Easter egg for me. Like I would watch an hour of footage on that. Watch people that are using hacks get shit on because they can't kill anybody. That's amazing.
Yep. I just thought that was a great clip. I loved it. So
we're going to go ahead and move on to the questions of the week. We actually have a couple questions. And in light of our community get-together that we're having with our PUBG community, Wild, have you ever met any of your gaming buddies in real life?
So I've met a couple, and actually one of my better friends is a buddy I met on Call of Duty years back, and he doesn't live so far from me. He's he's about 3 hours away, and we usually make a yearly pilgrimage to do some ice fishing, and we have a great time. And he's a good buddy. I talk to him all the time, and like it's weird. It was really weird to me at first to become like a real life friend with somebody on the internet, and it's not so weird anymore, and especially during COVID, that didn't make that made that transition even that much easier. I mean, truth be told, I've never met my good buddy here, Dagon, in real life, but that'll it'll happen, and hopefully we're gonna be all make it into Vegas this year with some debauchery in Vegas. And I'd like to tell you guys all about that, but you guys know the story, right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I can't tell you.
There may be a couple live streams from a couple guys.
Definitely going to be live streaming.
Now, how G-rated is it going to be? Could it potentially be against Twitch TOS? Maybe.
I'm gonna keep my phone out of the bathroom, but yeah.
I think it'll be fun. I've met Kermit, and maybe one day we'll get Kermit on the podcast. I met him when I went to San Jose to go to work. He works out in San Jose as well. Coincidentally, lives in Vegas, so we'll be hanging out with him when we all go to Vegas later this year.
Yep.
It's gonna be awesome. And then I've met one other guy. Who's a developer who started out as a developer friend. We're more developer friends than we are gaming buddies, but we used to play World of Tanks a lot together and like Payday and stuff. So it's kind of 50-50, but for the most part, I think Kermit's really the only gaming friend that I've met. And then when we do the Vegas thing, then it's probably going to be like meeting 10, 15 or 20 guys that I've been gaming with the last 3 years.
It's going to be super cool. I'm so excited.
It's going to be awkwardly not awkward.
That's exactly it, right? It kind of almost expect it to be awkward, but it's not going to be awkward because I've spent hundreds of hours, just bagging on these guys, as we're gaming
Thousands
and
of
stuff
hours
like
with
that.
me.
So yeah, there you go. Yeah, thousands of hours gaming and podcasting. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's going to be a great time. So I'm going to give you a big bro hug, bro.
Dude, I'm gonna give you a big bro hug and then a slow booty grab. Just a oh.
Oh, all right, that's a little weird now. It'll happen.
Awkward.
I don't, So then we have the other. So that's first question of the week. Second question of the week. So Dave, you've played a little bit of Super People. Can Super People succeed PUBG? Can that be the new go-to game? What do you think and what are you feeling on it? It's doing pretty decent.
It is doing pretty decent. If you look at the Twitch standings, like it's above PUBG, and it's actually built off of the same engine PUBG is. They have kind of a building mechanism, like you can build items, I believe. And
Craft.
that's crafting and stuff. Like that's the only thing that's really different about it. And instead of like a blue zone or anything like that, it's an ice storm. So I mean, it has its different nuances, but it's still the same. There's revives. There's certain little things, but I think the game mechanics, since the game mechanics are very similar to PUBG, I think it can take over as PUBG's successor. Just because right now we're seeing a lot of, suspicious things going on in PUBG with different players and whatnot. Like come on, like level 30 something people just going god mode on us veterans that have been playing the game for a while. Especially in normals. It's not so much in ranked play, which is why I'm starting to like ranked play a little bit more, and we're starting to do a little bit more scrims. We're starting to take the game a little bit more serious as far as esports stuff goes. But
Yep.
I think there's hope for it. I think we need to get a group of guys on the game and just really test it and evaluate it properly. And maybe it is something that our BTU community can start transitioning to. But man, it's really hard to beat PUBG. Like I don't know, there's just something about the game. I can't quite put my finger on why we keep coming back to the game. We bitch about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't quite put my thumb on why it's so good, but it's excuse me, it's really good.
Yeah, it's for me, I don't know, like Super People's good, but it feels a little bit gimmicky, a little Fortnite-y to me. Like you do have operators, and then the operator has a special skill they can use and level up, and there's kind of, it's like I don't feel like it's realistic, right? It's Super People. They're not really supposed to be realistic. So I have a hard time seeing this, taking the place of PUBG. I think this is a better replacement, in my opinion, for Fortnite. And the Fortnite players that don't want
The building.
to play PUBG and the building and stuff like that, but they still want some of the flash and some of the fun. I mean, because I'm not saying that the operator perks are bad or whatever, but one guy's got like a nuke that nukes areas and stuff like that. It turns out to be pretty strong in some situations and stuff like that. I don't know if I see it stealing the PUBG market, but I see it could be very viable for some other players and some other battle royales and stuff like that. We put out a tweet this week, talking about is PUBG what's the best battle royale? And it's still, for me, it's PUBG, man. Nothing gets my heart pumping. Even though with thousands of hours in the game, I still, you can still get your heart rate going when you get those intense fights and stuff like that. And that's just something I haven't been able to recreate in any other game. And I don't know what it is that does that for me. When you get, like, my hands and palms are sweaty and I'm shaking a little bit because the adrenaline dump, it's, I don't know what the successor to PUBG is, but I mean, it's still a great game for me. I'm still gonna keep playing it.
And that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Hopefully we'll get a better Call of Duty product now that this new game is being delayed. And in the next episode, we'll find out if Wild was on the list for the first batch of Steam Decks.
Oh, sorry. Thank you guys for listening in.
No. Here, let me lead you back into it.
Never. All right.
And that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Hopefully we'll get a better Call of Duty product now that the new game is being delayed. And in the next episode, we'll find out if Wild was on the list for the first batch of Steam Decks that are released.
Yeah, guys, watch social media. I'm going to be clicking refresh on my Gmail all day, waiting to see if I get my letter and my chance to buy my Steam Deck. And then when it comes up, check Instagram, check all the socials, because you'll see the first pictures there. I'll do a nice little, probably a quick little unboxing,
That'd be sweet.
just to show you guys that. And I'm first game I'm installing is probably going to be PUBG. I want to see if it'll play on there. Not super hopeful of it. It's not listed as compatible, but I'm gonna go through the whole thing, and I can't wait to get my greasy little hands on it. So
thank you guys for listening in. Consider our Patreon to support the podcast, and by also going to merch.agamingmoment.com and picking up some sweet swag like these awesome hats or visors that we're wearing on the stream right now. And be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform and leave us a 5-star review of the podcast. And you can also check back weekly for the next episode. And until next time, guys, keep grinding.
Mm-hmm.